What's up, everybody? It's Aaron here with Franchise Tag Fantasy Football, joined by my friend Ray for another week of Fantasy Insights and Fantasy Gold. Like always, could you please subscribe, hit the like icon, the notification bell, leave a comment. Anything that you say, we read. We do read all comments. I know we're trying to bolster the community and add more of you guys, so it's always greatly appreciated. And with this, we're going to do a NFL draft recap. Who hit, who missed, teams that we thought kind of flopped on a pick, teams that got good value, trade moves, all of that good stuff, and ultimately the fantasy impact that it has going into the 2021 season. So, what's up, Ray?
Well, if we want to talk about anything right off the bat, let's go over a little bit of news. Just a tiny bit, a little bit. I'm sure that you guys are all aware that we're both huge Packer fans. And I'm sure you guys are all aware that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore, clearly. I don't know. How tired are you of hearing about Aaron Rodgers to X team?
Me personally?
Yeah, let's rate it 1 to 10. 1 to 10.
Jeez. Can I be honest with you?
Sure.
I don't want to hear about it until it happens. I would rather my poor little heart just get broken and the Band-Aid be ripped off rather than just slowly peel it back.
Now, look, I truly think that if he were going to leave, it would be next season. The cap hits too high. He has no real leverage because if he doesn't play, he's going to have to pay back $30 million. He's not going to do that. He's not going to retire. I mean, AJ Hawk talked about it today on Pat McAfee. He was like, Aaron Rodgers isn't retiring. There's no way. 1, financially, it wouldn't make sense. 2, he loves the game. And he can still play at an MVP level. Why would he retire?
That is true. So, I don't know. My biggest thing is you've heard, like you said, AJ Hawk talk about it. You've heard Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport. You've heard all of these people talk about it, but you actually haven't heard the words come out of the horse's mouth themselves. So
I will say that is kind of the discerning side of it for me, and maybe it's because I know that he has ample places and avenues to talk about it, and he just hasn't. But at the same time, I can understand his point of view. He's mad about the whole not getting the contract that he wants, him trying to get extended, but he wants commitment. I get it. It makes sense. But at the end of the day, look, if he's not going to be there, it's love season. That's what it is. It's love season, baby.
Yeah, I agree. But as a Packers fan, too, the front office really hasn't done a lot to paint themselves in a pretty light either. So I 100% understand where Aaron Rodgers is coming from. I 100% hope he stays, but if he moves on, it's going to be like the Detroit fans and Matt Stafford. We all know he deserves better.
Mm-hmm.
Just hasn't got it. We'll see, though. We'll see how it plays out. There's still a lot of offseason left. Unfortunately, 4 months to football, but that's still, quite a bit of time. 120 days.
Too much time.
120 days.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to be making a whole nother baby by that time.
No, you're done. No more kids.
That's it. We're done.
So just off the cusp, top of your head, what team do you think hit the biggest as far as value?
It's crazy that I think that maybe Cincinnati had a pretty good draft. And I saw your takes on here, and I'm like, why? Why do you hate so much?
It's not hate, right? So there's a difference between hating and being a little low on people. I'm not full tank of gas hate. I'm just, running on empty. But yeah, but no, we'll discuss that stuff. So you think Cincy had a big one?
The Bears had a good draft, unfortunately. Disgusting. I think.
You want to know who I think had a good draft?
Who's that?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yes. Also, yes. I don't know why.
And I hate saying that.
I know, right? Like, I hate saying that the Bears and the Cowboys had good drafts. Sorry, John, but I'm not sorry. Great friend of the show, John. It's disgusting to me. But Micah Parsons is the real deal. I'm sorry, he is.
So I wanted to cover.
A man.
I wanted to cover this when we kind of got into everything else, but since we're already on this topic, we'll just press on to it. The Cowboys had 11 picks this year. For people that don't know, They had 11 picks, and they spent 8 of them on defense. 2 of them were offense, one of them being a lineman, and one of them was a long snapper. So 3 picks that weren't defense. Their first 6 picks were defensive players. They know that they had a problem last year, and they actually went out and addressed it. Unlike certain teams taking a tight end at 4 overall when your defense just gives up buku amounts of points.
The only bad part I'd say about the Bengals draft, and I understand going and getting a weapon like Jamar Chase, but you got to protect Burrow, man. What are you doing? The guy is literally should have had his leg amputated because of how bad that knee injury was.
All right, let's roll.
We'll get into it.
Let's just go ahead. All right, we'll wait. So give me who you thought just completely the bed.
You know what? The Lions didn't do anything that I think they should have. They already have Michael Brockers, so why did they draft 2 defensive tackles? They already had a decent line. I guess that getting Seawall was a good choice. That's a solid pick. But they don't have any pass catchers whatsoever. None. Can you name the starting receiver on Detroit right now? Outside of TJ Hawkinson, who is it?
I don't know.
Good question. Question. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's who it is.
I don't think so. They just signed someone in the offseason.
I don't know. Maybe Rashod Perriman. Maybe that's the guy that you want to talk about being their number 1. Is that something you're comfortable with? Nope. And with that kind of receiver depth in this draft class, to only come away with a
Tyrell Williams, that's what I was thinking. Sorry.
Yeah, but has he ever been a number 1? Has he ever proven that he can be a number 1? No.
I mean, you could say at Vegas he tried. He gave it a good effort.
Look, A's don't they don't float in the league. I'm sorry.
They also have Geronimo Allison now. We're very familiar with him.
Ooh, real stud there. I'm telling you, it's look.
That's bad.
It's really gross. It's really gross. And to think that they only addressed that position by getting a middling receiver that I don't even think he was worth a 4th round pick. Maybe he was. Maybe. I don't know.
He's better than his brother. That's for sure.
That's not a hard bar to hit.
His brother's a 5th round pick.
That's not a hard bar to hit. No, it's just not. And there was so many receivers they could have taken and they didn't. And that's why the Lions for me.
All right, so Sean McVay in the Los Angeles Rams. What are you doing? You don't have a 1st round pick. You're paying for Jalen Ramsey with your 1st round pick. Your 2nd pick, you take Tutu Atwell out of Louisville as a receiver. So you already have Robert Woods. You already have Cooper Kupp. They got rid of Josh Reynolds, right? I believe they got rid of Josh Reynolds, but they have
I'd have to vet that.
Van Jefferson. Like,
Van Jefferson. It was a high pick.
Why are you taking that's what I'm saying.
Van Jefferson was a 2nd round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
That's what I'm saying. Why are you doing this?
Another questionable one. I don't know.
They just signed Deshaun Jackson in the offseason, which I understand he gets hurt, but like
he had 2 games. 2 games. But have him on your roster in those 2 games.
That is true. He's now the 4th wide receiver on your depth chart that you spent a 2nd round pick on. Are they not planning on signing one of these people?
I don't know. They got to pay Donald a lot of money. They got to pay Ramsey a lot of money. I thought their offensive line could use some help, especially with a team that wants to be running the ball as much as they do with Cam Akers. You should have. There was linemen there to grab, and they didn't.
So, this is my thing, right? Is they drafted Tutu Atwell in the 2nd. They turned around and drafted a linebacker in the 3rd. They needed a linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. Then they drafted a defensive tackle. Then they had 3 picks in the 4th round where they went defensive tackle, cornerback, wide receiver / tight end in the same person. Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I'm telling you, there was a couple teams that just completely missed. I want to circle back around real fast just before we really get started on, who we're high on, who we're low on, and what not throughout this cast is. I mentioned that Justin Fields was a good grab for the Bears. Justin Fields has a chance to be the best quarterback in Bears history. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that nuts?
I thought about it, and my mind immediately went smoking Jay Cutler, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
Kind of gross when you think about it. Kind of gross. Sorry, Bears fans.
You're
Not
definitely
sorry.
right. We'll cover him a little bit more. He kind of made one of the lists, kind of didn't, and I'll explain why. So, anyways, with that being said, you ready to just roll right into it?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You want to cover highs first, lows first, or just sprinkle them together?
You know, I want to cover one that I'm really upset about. That's what I wrote. I want to just vet my hatred and anger at this pick.
Just so everyone knows, this is a Ray's reaction episode. That's what we're going to name it.
Why is it that Miami went and signed Jalen Waddle? Why? Why did they have to draft him? Why couldn't he have went to a team where we could have been like, yo, Tyreek Hill V2. I'm super excited to draft him. Now he's with some limp noodle arm of Tua. He's the second deep option on that team with maybe the third option or fourth option as a total receiver.
He'll be the third option running the slot.
You think so? You think he's going to be the third option? Let me throw some names at you.
He's going to be running the slot.
This is why I'm upset. This is it right here. They have Will Fuller. He's the clear-cut number one. Sorry. Just is.
Speed-wise or first read?
I think he's the first read.
Devonta Parker.
I was going to say Devonta Parker and Mike Gesicki are going to be tied for the 2A, 2B role in that offense.
Yeah. That
would leave Jalen Waddle as a number 4 as your first-round pick that you couldn't have done something else with. Makes no sense.
I don't think that Miami's offense favors the tight end as much, so he might not be a 2B like you think he is.
You might be right. You know what? Who knows? Tua was so piss poor last season when he got the shot that he cost that team a playoff run. Say I'm lying.
Because they brought Fitzpatrick in on 2 games to try to win them.
And the dude pulled out. Why, Miami? Why? Could you imagine Najee Harris on that offense?
Stop it. They could have went and got a running back, but instead they're going into the season with Myles Gaskin.
Just things I don't understand. And maybe it's because, we're talking about fantasy football. We are fantasy football experts, and that's what I want to do. I want to be happy about fantasy football. And Jalen Waddle doesn't make me happy. It really makes me sad.
You were pretty high on this man coming into it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely the ankle injury didn't slow him down at all.
I can't believe he didn't fall.
Yeah, who knows? The Raiders took what's his face last year in the first round?
Ruggs.
Yeah, Henry Ruggs III. Thank you. All right.
That's gross.
You want my spicy one first, or you want me to save that one for the end?
Hit the spicy one now because I'm just really upset.
Just get it out of the way. Yeah. I am low, and I say low, I don't mean I hate. I just mean I'm low on Jamar Chase. The dude, I get it. Joe Burrow and him in college. He's great at college. You're looking at me. Everyone's saying he's the top wide receiver off the board. It's not going to matter if Joe Burrow doesn't have time to throw the football. I understand that they took an offensive tackle in the second round, but you could have went back-to-back offensive linemen, had two of the top 10 linemen in the draft on your team, and then went and got a receiver later in the draft somewhere else. That I'm not saying that he's going to be just as good in the long run, but it's known that rookie wide receivers don't pay dividends all the time in the first season. Very rarely, actually.
I can agree with what you're saying, and for the most part, they should have drafted linemen right then and there at the 4 or what are they, the 5 spot? This 5 spot? So at the 5 spot and they had the 10th pick too, did they not?
No.
Either way, they could have had multiple linemen that could have helped an offense that just truly needed it. And you got to think when this next season kicks off, they're going to have Joe Burrow back. He already said he's coming back. He's going to be week 1 starter. I truly believe that. You're going to have a more healthy Joe Mixon. You're going to have a further acclimated T. Higgins. And you're going to have Tyler Boyd. Why did you need to add another piece? Now, I do think that Jamar Chase is the most talented of those three receivers that I mentioned. I don't think that's a far shot. I think he's a better receiver than T. Higgins. I think he's a better receiver than
That's also what bothers me about that.
Tyler Boyd. So it kind of ruins their draft profile as well, or I'm sorry, their fantasy outlook as well. How high are you now on T. Higgins? Where would you draft him? Put you on the spot right now.
Double-digit rounds, just a.
Ooh, how about Tyler Boyd?
Probably not at all.
Wow. You see that face?
Jamar Chase, with how much I understand it from a real football perspective, you want the best available at the 5 spot instead of taking a lineman. I get where they're going with it, but dude, trade back, get more value, get more linemen, trade back in the draft. But Jamar Chase comes in and is now he's going to be the unified number or the solidified number 1. He's just
I think so.
Immediate first read.
Now
it makes sense for a Joey Burrow aspect. I get it, but like I said, why don't you just trade back? Because if your quarterback doesn't have time to throw the ball, it's not going to matter who's catching the pass.
I don't know. I like the pick. I like it, but then I don't. Like I'm so hit or miss on that pick, or I guess hot and cold on that pick. But outside of that, I thought they had a good draft. They addressed a lot of needs. They got some linemen. They addressed needs, but they could have.
They got one lineman in the second that's gonna help. They got one lineman in the fourth that might pan out, maybe just a depth piece. But then in the third, they took 2 edge rushers.
And they already got Carl Lawson. Like, why are they?
So did they really have that good of a draft?
I guess not. I get you're changing my opinion. I guess not. I'm still high on Jamar Chase. I refuse.
Oh, don't get me wrong. He will be good, but I do not think he will be good this year.
I absolutely refuse to decide with you on this one. I can't.
He will be good, but just not this year. Maybe try again next year, guys.
All right, so the next guy I want to talk about, this is another one that just really grinds my gears. Rashod Bateman. Why could Green Bay not just move up and get him? Why?
There's 2 people that I would have loved to see the Packers move up and get.
Look, that's the inside of my Packers soul coming out and greeting you guys. I don't care where he went. Just why Baltimore? He would have been such a good piece to add to almost any offense in the league except for Baltimore. Why?
Could you have imagined if they take him at the 29th spot?
No.
23rd.
23rd. Yeah.
Sorry, we were 29th.
Yep.
Who was in between us?
He could have went to the Jets. Would have been a better option, I think, than Elijah Moore. I think because he's just a bigger threat all the way around. He could have went to Carolina and been the dominant number 1. I think he would have blown the doors off of both. What is it? DJ Moore and
Robbie Anderson.
He'd have blown the doors off of both those guys.
I don't agree with that. There's
so many. Maybe the Raiders could have went and grabbed him. The Raiders need somebody really bad.
Raiders just need help all around.
Another good option. But then he goes to Baltimore, and that's just a wasted pick. Now, there's nothing to say against the lack of talent that Rashod Bateman showed throughout his tape, because I watched it all, and I was all in. It's more that we talked about it before, Aaron, about the passing pie, and it just not being available. He's not – you're going to give him, 5 receptions a game?
We've beat the Baltimore and Lamar Jackson horse entirely too much. I agree. Bad for him, good for Baltimore. Bad fantasy move, good real football move.
Great real football move. But
Hollywood Brown now goes to a fringe wide receiver 3 flex play. His value tanks in this as well.
Oh yeah.
So now instead of getting at least one pick and choose option, long shot in best ball, you now get none. They eat into too much.
I said the last thing I want to talk about that I said in the show doc, I was like, maybe Lamar Jackson takes a step forward. We've seen it before with Josh Allen. We've seen that it can happen with the accuracy thing that he just doesn't have. Maybe he takes a step forward, and maybe my dreams come true. And Rashod Bateman is the real deal, and I was right the whole time. Maybe that's what it is. I don't want to get off the hype train. I don't want to get off.
Well, you might have to get off the hype train, buddy. I'm sorry, but
train
stopped at a station that you don't want to get out at. All right, so
Who you got?
Oh, next up for me, I'm gonna save the top of this list for the bottom. I'm really upset for his fantasy value that Javonte Williams went to the Denver Broncos. He could have went to the New York Jets. He could have went to the Miami Dolphins. He could have went to the Steelers. He could have went to the Bills at 30, where I thought he was going to fall when I was watching the draft. They were talking, and I was listening to Booger and watching his bent fingers, and I was like, I can't stand that. And then they were talking, and then I was like, this man's gonna go right here. Javonte Williams is gonna get drafted to the Bills. Ta-da! Problem solved. They're gonna cut Zach Moss, keeps Devin Singletary as I don't know, a bench warmer at this point in time, and it didn't happen. They drafted a defensive player, which I mean I get it. Defense wins championships, right? It's a proven fact. But the sheer fact that he went to Denver with an established Melvin Gordon, that was his first year of his contract in Denver? Second year? My dates are all messed up. I think it was his second year.
First year. I think it was his first year. It was his first year because he went there. That was the big thing. He was going there. I'm pretty sure.
Man.
It does.
Yeah, that was his first year. It was his first year. Sorry. Like I said, my time frames and timetables, I have to check her. They're all messed up. An established running back with Melvin Gordon who they just paid. They now put second round value into Javonte Williams. That's a lot of capital to put in someone, a day two pick. An early day two pick.
It makes me believe that's going to be more of a split back system.
That's what I'm saying. So now it goes into one of those things that we were talking about with Rashod Bateman and Hollywood Brown. You have two people on a mediocre at best offense with a quarterback problem that are going to eat into each other's workloads. And therefore, Melvin Gordon finishes a top 10 half-point fantasy running back last year. That offense is not Cleveland where it can support two top 24 running backs. It's not going to happen.
He finished that high because
touchdowns.
Philip Lindsay got hurt as well.
That's what I'm saying. And touchdowns.
Yeah. There was multiple things working to that fantasy finish. That it wasn't him just dominating to the point to get to a top 10 finish. It was things had to fall into place for him to get there.
That's what I'm saying. And with them not getting a quarterback, not trading up for a quarterback, rolling with Teddy this year, he might, after the bye week, if it's late in the season, pop off. If a Melvin Gordon injury happens, he might steal the backfield. But the way it stands now, man, like I was so ready to draft this rookie running back at the end of drafts as a bench stash to see what happens because he was going to go off. Dude had a 76% broken tackle rating or whatever on rushing plays, 85 total, including his passing down work. But now he's on Denver.
I will say, just to cap off what you had right there, if you can get him like real late in the draft, I'm talking like 12, 13, 14, he might be worth that pick. He might be, because if just so happens Melvin Gordon gets hurt, which Melvin Gordon's gotten hurt before, I would think that he would be involved in both the passing game and he'd be the only back in town.
For sure.
He's shown that he can catch the ball. Denver has shown that they will throw the ball to a running back. I think that might be, and if it's Teddy Bridgewater, you know that he's going to dump off. If it is Teddy Bridgewater, who knows? Sorry, Denver fans. Sorry.
I'm talking to Greg right now specifically. He's a Broncos fan. We talk about it at work. It's rough. It's rough. But yeah. Anyways, let's keep the ball rolling.
Oh, it's just a lot of pain. Just a lot of pain. You know what I want to do is I'm going to talk about somebody that's good. That's great. That brings up the spirits. You know what I mean?
I'm going to poop
a little something like that. Elijah Moore going to the Jets. I think that was a perfect fit. That was a good move. To pair him up with a rookie and Zach Wilson, you can't ask for much more in a draft class that needed all of the things. All of the things. I would have liked him to get a running back a little early. I would have liked that, but maybe they got something.
They were smart.
Ty Johnson.
We'll cover it. They were smart.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they waited and got some talent, but I really like the coupling of Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson. The reason why I'm saying that, and this is more specifically talking to like half point, full point PPR leagues, is that rookie quarterbacks have a tendency to check the ball down a lot. What is a better security blanket outside of a really good tight end, an established veteran tight end? What's a better option to have as a security blanket? It's a short, tough, inside slot guy that's going to get dirty on all the crap throws you're going to get. And that's what Elijah Moore is. He showed it in college with the extreme toughness. Think of like a Randall Cobb, but like way tougher than Randall Cobb. We're going to bring up Randall Cobb a couple times in this.
I saw where they were comparing him to an Antonio Brown.
I saw that too, and I was like, that's a little too high. I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's a little too much.
But Antonio Brown's pretty small too, though, to be a number one. It's crazy.
Yeah,
he's just that good.
Yeah, he's like 5'10", I think.
Yeah, but anyways, he was good for a long time. Re-signed with the Buccaneers, in case you guys didn't know. But yeah,
bringing everybody back. But I like I said, I saw the comp like on draft profiles and stuff like that. I like to look at those because it's like you just like see what the analysts thought the people were going to look like, in the future. And it's so stupid all the time. But I don't think Antonio Brown. That's a reach. You're talking about a potential Hall of Famer, and you're comparing him to him already. No thanks.
If T.O. didn't make it for his on the field and off the field antics, and AB better.
Antonio Brown can't.
I mean, T.O. finally made it, but
I'm high on Elijah Moore. If you got him later in your drafts, like say like 9th round, I'm not mad at that. That's a shot at a PPR guy.
Yeah, I might draft him in best ball.
He could finish with 100 catches. He could.
Yeah, I'll probably draft him in best ball in a few places. Speaking of best ball, if you guys have never tried best ball, get into like 4 or 5 free best ball leagues. Yahoo does them, and it's a good way to actually, instead of mock drafting as a computer, because literally best ball you just set it and forget it. If you play free leagues, it doesn't matter, but you can literally mock draft your team against real people in a best ball setting. It helps.
Hey, Aaron, I got an idea for you. Consistency. Probably I got an idea for you. Oh,
just kidding. What's that?
How about this? How about if we can get to, let's say, 50 subscribers within, let's say, a month. We get there, we can run our own fans best ball league. How about
50 subscribers by, we'll do 15 June. It's a little over a month. The 15th. If we get 50 subscribers by the 15th of June, we will do a 14-man best ball league. Best ball is pretty big, so don't let 14 people scare you off.
Yeah.
We'll do Ray and I will draft together in a combined team to save one spot. So us against 13 others. And best ball, don't let it scare you. And then maybe we'll do like a gift card to the winner or something.
I was just about to say that. We'll sweeten the deal a little bit. Yeah. Something nice.
Free to enter,
guys.
and you get something out of it. So
yeah,
So yeah, 50 subs by June 15th. So word of mouth, get out there. And then there's websites that we'll do like a raffle draw for people who can enter. We'll draw names out of a hat. Anyways, so rolling into the next one, we're gonna kind of stick on the Jets here. I'm gonna do this right now, but I don't like the Zach Wilson pick by the Jets.
Why?
They're number one. Even though they had a decent draft, they're still a flat out bad team. Robert Saleh, I think, will change it, but it'll take a couple years because you don't just polish a turd overnight. But the fact of the matter is, man, is he played for BYU, Brigham Young. Who did he play in his 3 years of starting for BYU?
Nobody.
Absolutely no one. The biggest team that you could say that he played was Central Florida or Houston. They lost to Coastal Carolina. I know this last year was weird, but even his 2019 season. Oh, they played Tennessee. Excuse me. Never mind. That's not even that good. They played SC. Oh, they played some Pac-12 teams. All right. So you could argue for Tennessee, SC, and Washington. They went 2-1 in that split. Other than that, though, really, the good teams that they've played, like, they didn't win or they didn't play any. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I personally think it's going to be Sam Darnold reincarnated, but I don't think Zach Wilson might be a little bit better than Sam Darnold, but they're basically the same caliber of quarterback. If you have the number 2 pick and you just traded Sam Darnold to literally draft another Sam Darnold, why would you do that?
I think that he's got a little more lively arm, but I do see where you're coming from. It's hard to turn a culture that you have of losing for so many years, plus the stank of Adam Gase, get that disgusting stench out the building. But I do believe that Zach Wilson will be productive in this system. I think that they're going to want to try and run the ball a lot more, and I think that's going to help open up a few more lanes specifically to throw to Elijah Moore, that he's not going to have to try so hard. But I will say, with all the lack of talent that he played against, he really was never pressured, ever. He was real clean on almost every game he played. That is not going to be the same thing in New York. It will not be.
Not
so
even
that's
just
going to be the big
NFL competition, but also the New York media will chew this guy up and spit him out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that he has
the
oomph to handle, number 1, NFL pass rushers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, New York media in general. If you saw after the draft when they were doing all the press pictures and stuff outside, he got a little freaked out during his press pictures. There's a clip on the internet going around. I don't think he'll be able to handle it. And I think they wasted the 2nd round pick by just drafting Sam Darnold again.
I don't like the comp to Sam Darnold, but I mean, I hope not. But I think Sam Darnold can have success in Carolina. I think he can.
I do. We got to keep this rolling or we're going to end up going long. We still got a lot to get through.
I know. All right, so the next one I want to talk about, this is going to be real, I promise. Devonta Smith. I know a lot of people are high on this pick. I know a lot of people. Every Eagles fan I talk to, they're like, oh, yeah, we stole in the draft. And I'm like, the dude is 170. Yeah, I understand that, there's been greats that have played the game at a very low weight, a slender build. I understand that. But not that little. And there's only a few that you can mention. Whereas you can mention a lot more that didn't. I just don't like him in the NFL. And I'm sorry. I don't. I'm not a big fan. I know that he was a Heisman Trophy winner. I get it. But it's a different game in the NFL. You got corners that are 230 pounds. Like, it's just a different ball game. I don't think he can compete with that kind of size. What do you think?
I think he'll be. I don't like the pick. No, I don't like the team that he ended up on for a fantasy value perspective. But
that's the other half.
Right. I think he'll be all right. Not on the Eagles. Don't get me wrong.
No.
He will not be all right on the Eagles with Jalen Hurts.
No.
But later down the line, he'll be all right.
They need to get that quarterback. Sorry.
For sure. I'm gonna steal your last one here that you've written on the show, Doc. I'm actually also, I'm middling, but it's Kyle Pitts to Atlanta. I'm middling on it. I mean, I personally don't think they should have drafted Kyle Pitts. They should have drafted someone for the defense, but I understand why they did it. He's going to be a generational talent, like we talked about. He could be the next Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski, George Kittle. Like, I get why they did it, but they have, I think, a tight end on their roster already that I'll let you talk about, but you've mentioned it before, his blocking work, not going to go anywhere. So excuse me, I don't like the pick from Atlanta, if we're being 100% honest. If it could have ended up somewhere else, it might have been better. I mean, don't get me wrong, Atlanta does everything they can to try to help Matt Ryan out. I get it. That's cool of them. Must be nice.
That's dope. But it hasn't helped him. I don't know.
But anyways, what do you got on Kyle Pitts?
It was exactly what I had said in our tight end video, was that I was afraid that he was going to go to a team where he was going to be a split decision between him and another veteran tight end. worst thing that could have happened for Kyle Pitts is that he went to a team with an established blocking tight end that can catch the ball. Austin Hooper's getting paid a lot of money. I want to say it's $40 million. And they're not going to just let that dude sit on the bench for no reason to bring in Kyle Pitts when he can't block. That couldn't have been maybe the worst spot he could have went to outside of Miami. Anything attached to it, no thanks. Throw it in the trash.
I think we know you don't like Tua.
No.
Not to mention you have, like you said, Austin Hooper, Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones.
So he's the fourth option.
Mike Davis can't
Maybe
catch
third.
out of the backfield as well.
He's probably the third. Let's say the third. Let's say he's the third.
Behind who?
Maybe he's ahead of Hooper, but he's behind Julio and Ridley, clearly. So he's the third option on an offense that
I hope they convert him to a wide receiver and then let him take Julio's spot and they trade Julio for Beans. That's what I hope.
Did you put that spicy note in the?
I did not. I just came up with that off the cuff.
I need an emoji on that doc. I need an emoji for that sentence.
Off the cuff, bro.
That's way too spicy. No thanks. I can't.
I said I hope. I said I hope. I didn't say they're going to.
Those dreams can't happen because there's potential landing spots for Julio, and you know where I want him to go. So I won't get my hopes up.
It is a lot better than your AJ Green pick 2 years ago. But anyways, moving on. Yeah, Kyle Pitts, don't like the pick there. Fantasy value, not what we thought it was going to be. So if you have done your rookie drafts already and you took him in the front half of your rookie drafts for Dynasty, sorry about you. But if you waited and you get him at the 110, 111 like we've talked about before, that's probably good value because it will pay off in a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. We're going into people that I'm going into people that I'm a little bit high on. I'm going to start off with Najee Harris going to Pittsburgh. All right? He's
real low-hanging fruit.
That's super low-hanging fruit, right? But I called it preseason, too. I said he's going to go 24 to Pittsburgh. That's where he's going to go. He ended up going there. I'm going to take my cake. I'm going to eat it, too, on this pick, right? So he's taking the lead role. Let's be real. They got rid of James Conner. I'm talking with my hands. Benny Snell is not good. I'm talking to you, Ray, and your fab dollars. Okay? He might have a good personality, but he's not a good running back.
No.
But anyways, so the Steelers need to get the deal done with Alejandro Villanueva. I think that's how you say his name. I really have a hard time with names like that. If they re-sign him and keep that line good, he's going to be a beast. James Conner.
Where do you draft him?
Now? Rookie draft or redraft?
Right now, rookie draft. Oh, I'm sorry. Redraft. Sorry.
Redraft?
Mm-hmm.
Your boy's probably going to take him in the third or fourth.
I thought you were going to say the second. I was like, you.
Maybe back in second, depending on what's on the board. You have to pay attention to what's on the board. Would you rather have a starting running back for an offense that has had perennially good run game? Or would you rather have a boom bust wide receiver one?
I would rather have a premium tight end. But I think that I see what you're going with. I understand the idea and mindset.
That's why I said whatever's left on the board. You know what I mean? You have to pay attention. Just because I say, I might take him at the 212, you know what I mean? There might not be anything really left.
I could see. I think I'm comfortable middle of the third. That's probably where I'm comfortable.
That's probably where I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Mike Tomlin has shown that he wants to dedicate to one running back. Throughout his whole career, he's done it.
That's my thing.
And
James Conner could have been so good if he was healthy.
If he could stay healthy. You know what's crazy? He's like built like a brick shithouse.
Stop. That's why I should use this comparison or comp.
He's stacked.
He just can't stay. The dude beat cancer. He's a badass, but he just can't stay healthy.
Can't stay. Ligaments can't stay healthy. I know all about that. Ligaments can't.
Exactly. But
what else you got there? I think I'm all out of people I'm high on. Really.
I don't think you are, bro. You've got 2 more.
Oh, I do.
You do. According to the show doc, you have 2 more. But if you would like me to keep rolling, I'll keep rolling because I have a few things I want to add at the end of this show, and we got to speed it up.
All right, let's run through one because I know the one. Terrace
All right.
Marshall going to Carolina, dope. I'm with that. He can be the true number one there. He is the most talented receiver on that roster. Take those spicy takes to the bank. I sent you there. Tell him I sent you there with the check. It's good. See that face? See that face? That's how you know it was real.
All right, so spicy takes. That's definitely spicy. I do believe he's better than Robbie Anderson. I don't know about DJ Moore. I don't think DJ Moore's full potential has been unlocked yet. But we'll go to the next one. My next one is Michael Carter Jr. He played duo tandem running backfield with Javonte Williams at North Carolina. They were both really good, really good. That North Carolina backfield in college was immaculate. He got picked up by the Jets in the 4th round, who I think got a steal right here because he's literally almost the exact same as Javonte Williams, just with a little bit less elusive broken tackle rating. And basically the same player other than that. And there's no one in front of him on this depth chart. Whereas Javonte Williams has people in front of him. There's no one in front of him in the Jets depth chart. And like you said, you expect them to run the ball more. I fully expect Robert Saleh to take the Kyle Shanahan run game. Even though he's a defensive coach, I fully expect him to take that tree. He took Mike LaFleur, right? That's his offensive coordinator. I believe that is correct. And yes, he's going to run a Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan type of offense, Sean McVay type of running game offense, where I think Michael Carter is going to be good, especially for a 4th round pick. They're not going to have to pay that man much. That's a steal in the draft that he dropped. He will be decent on a decent offense. If that offense could take a step forward, he'll be really good. Go ahead.
I will also add that if they're going to be running that sort of offense, you're going to see a lot more jet motion, kind of giving a little jab to my Elijah Moore pick. But that's also going to open up everything else. You know, I think Michael Carter might be a steal in your draft. He could be. I mean, think about where I think in, let's just say redraft comp, just like fantasy football redraft comp is what I'm trying to get here. Think the gas man himself, Myles Gaskin.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I think you could have. And that was a good flex option for you in a lot of weeks because you don't get a running back way late in the draft. But I bet he falls to the 6th or 7th, maybe the 8th. And now you're really talking about a guy that's going to get the work, the load, and that's going to be on an improved offense. Can't be worse. Can't be. Literally can't be.
You'd be surprised. But anyways, go ahead with your last one.
All right. My last pick, you know he had to be on here. This is the first time that I've been able to be excited about an offensive piece in so long in Green Bay. So long. Amari Rodgers, baby girl. Amari Rodgers. This man clearly is now the number 2 option in that offense.
Oh,
clearly.
Yeah, 100%.
If Aaron Rodgers is playing, he's proven that he can support more than one receiver without skipping a beat. The one thing that I want to really talk about really stood out with Amari Rodgers' tape, and if you look at how the Packers' offense was kind of set up last year, you'd have Devonta getting triple covered. And that's not a joke. He was counting these people out on the field. You would have Allen Lazard, which I love Allen Lazard, and you would have MVS not able to just break away from a single coverage. They couldn't do it. And I'm like, is the route running that bad? But then you look at Amari Rodgers and his route running, his skill set, his ability, that the Packers got a steal in round 3, a steal. He was a 2nd round talent.
He was Trevor Lawrence's number 1.
And I'm telling you right now, it's you watch that man play football, you're like, ooh, girl.
Also, another dude who's not afraid to go across the middle, get down and dirty.
You want to talk about a better, bigger, badder Cobb? That's the dude. Bears better watch out.
That is true. He is the first offensive piece in the last, besides Jordan Love, the first offensive piece we've taken since 2014.
Well, you got to count A.J. Dillon, too.
That's
but if what you're really saying is in the first 3 rounds of any draft since 2014.
First receiver.
Outside of A.J. Dillon, this is that option. Now, you knew that they had to take a receiver because they don't have anything on contract after this year. Nothing. They have nothing. So Amari Rodgers had to be drafted here. But they were talking about him going before, is it Jake Myers? Is that the center tackle that they took in the second round? Is it Jake Myers?
Yeah.
I think it is. I'm pretty sure. You can vet me. It's fine. But they were talking about taking Amari Rodgers there, but thought that he could actually fall to them in the third, and they got lucky, and he did. He was a second-round talent receiver, and you know how the Packers have hit on second-round receivers. Their track record, real nice.
Takes them a couple years, but I expect this one will pick up sooner rather than later. With
Absolutely.
Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback.
You know what? With Jordan Love, with Love season.
We're going to be in for World of Hurt for a couple years if that happens this upcoming season.
Don't worry.
You know who I'm highest on, and he didn't even get drafted?
Who's that?
Allen Robinson. We talked about it earlier. We're talking about it now. The dude was a top 12 guy 2 seasons in a row with Mitch Trubisky. As you've alluded, Justin Fields being drafted, the Bears were smart. They traded up out of the 20 spot to get to the 11th to take Justin Fields. Justin Fields could be the best quarterback in Bears history. There's a good possibility.
Now, I want to preface this. Low bar.
Really, really low bar. But if you do it with Blake Bortles and you do it with Nick Foles and you do it with Mitch Trubisky, you're going to be able to do it with even the lowest of low bars. Even if you just go a little bit above it, you're going to be good. So Allen Robinson was by far the biggest winner of the night in the draft.
Just shoot him to the moon.
Not to the moon. Come on now. Well, it's not Dogecoin. But I mean, Andy Dalton clearly wasn't the answer.
No.
They drafted Justin Fields. I mean, granted, even if Justin Fields has to sit 3 or 4 games because Matt Nagy doesn't know who his starting quarterback is, like he likes to say all the time, which is just coach speak for I don't want to lose the locker room. I mean, the dude's going to get on the field. The dude's going to play. The dude's going to, I think, Justin Fields is going to be really good. But the winner here is Allen Robinson, for sure.
I can't deny that at all. And I'm not like super high on Justin Fields by any means. I'm not saying, oh, this is the guy. He's not Trey Lance. I want you to understand that. The Niners won by getting Trey Lance. Jordan, this is at you. If you're listening right now, Jordan, this is at you. Remember our bet. Remember, got to say it.
Stop it.
I think Justin Fields, he has an opportunity. They have good receivers there. They have an established running game. They have a great defense always. They're still the Bears though, so they figure out how to mess things up. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point. I like Allen Robinson a lot coming into this season. I think that could be a sneaky 3rd, 4th round receiver if he falls there. I think that could be right where you're going to get maximum value. He doesn't go past the 4th though.
Oh, for sure, definitely not. But yeah, it increases his ceiling exponentially. If his floor was Mitch Trubisky and you finish as wide receiver 12, which is a wide receiver 1 in fantasy football, I think it keeps his floor the same base, but it just makes his ceiling go up.
Absolutely. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it dropping past the receiver 1. No way.
No. So let's get into a few quick talking points that I would like to talk about. I think Houston took a quarterback in the 3rd, but I believe it was Stanford's quarterback, if I'm not wrong.
I can't remember.
Houston taking a quarterback in the 3rd round. I don't want to dig too deep into the discussion of Deshaun Watson, but that is an insurance plan for if this man is not playing next year. That is what that pick was.
I couldn't tell you who the other backup is. I couldn't tell you.
So you don't, like I said, you don't spend day 1 or 2 capital on people that you don't expect to play in the near future.
Yeah, especially at the quarterback position, especially not in the 1st or 2nd round. You're spending way too much capital on, a much more sure thing than a 7th round pick. Not to say that a 7th round quarterback can't pan out, I mean, we've seen what Tom Brady can do. Or even Ryan Fitzpatrick was a 7th round pick, but it's not. It's definitely something to pay attention to.
It is. It's something to monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something to monitor, especially the closer the draft season gets. Then I want to talk about some of these other guys. Trey Sermon. Do you know who that is? It's a running back that I called out, went to University of Oklahoma, graduate transfer to Ohio State University. He went in the 3rd round to the San Francisco 49ers. I can scroll up in the show docs. He's a good running back, man. And Kyle Shanahan can take no-name running backs and make them super relevant for fantasy football.
Now, Aaron,
go ahead.
As the fan's voice, I'd like to ask you a quick question. How high are you on Raheem Mostert?
6th round pick.
Okay, that's all I wanted to ask. That's all.
Fifth or sixth. I mean, depending upon the draft and how it goes. But the only reason that he's so low to me, rather than being a 3rd or your running back 2 for your offense, is because there's a plethora of running backs in San Francisco, and whoever's on the field at the time is good.
And he gets hurt a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Trey Sermon has had some injury history in the past, so they're keeping that alive with the the injured players on their team that they like to draft. So yeah, I think he'll work his way into the rotation rather than just ride the pine regularly, which then again it eats into fantasy value. The next one I want to talk about is Travis Etienne. Went to Jacksonville with the 25th pick, right behind Najee Harris. Poof. Buy puts to James Robinson's fantasy value. Urban Meyer said, "Yeah, we're going to use him as a 3rd down back. You don't draft a 1st round running back to use as a 3rd down back."
No,
right? That's just that coach speak that everyone always gets when they're doing interviews. But you are not drafting someone as a 2nd running back off the board in the end of the 1st round to be a 3rd down back. Doesn't happen.
No, and they didn't need one last season, so why would they waste the capital on that? That hurts my feelings because James Robinson's such a good story. Like, it's such a...
Sorry, man. It's a business at the end of the day.
It is.
I do think with Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, I think that he's going to have some success. I mean, James Robinson did it. He was the only one getting the ball. I do think that they will use Travis Etienne to protect Trevor Lawrence as far as throwing too many interceptions. So I think they run the ball a little bit more, especially with Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was coach of Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, you got to remember that stuff.
Yeah, and I could definitely see him, taking more of a running approach just to kind of ease old Trevor Lawrence into the game. But I also think that James Robinson's going to see a lot less work. It's going to be a split backfield. And what I would like to think is that James Robinson is also going to be the 3rd down back or the red zone back. Why not? He's much bigger than Travis Etienne. So I couldn't imagine that not being an option, So it's just going to be something you're going to have to definitely pay attention to going through training camp and just seeing what's happening. I can't – Aaron's right. I can't imagine them going and spending a 1st round pick on a 3rd down running back. Get the hell out of that.
Yeah.
Get out of my face.
I don't know who he's trying to fool right there. Last but not least, and then we'll wrap it up. We're pushing an hour here. Patriots drafting Mac Jones in the 15th overall spot. I like the pick.
I thought that somebody else was going to be there. I thought it was going to be Trey Lance, honestly. I can't believe he went that high. But, yeah, I mean, if anybody's going to be able to bring something out of a quarterback that with Mac Jones' skill set, it's going to be Bill Belichick.
Dude, he's not the most mobile out of the 4 who went before him.
No.
But he is probably top 2 in brains. I would say Trevor Lawrence is probably 1. He's probably 2. And he's a pocket passer. It's your prototypical NFL quarterback. your pocket passing quarterback who's smart and can make throws at different arm angles, different ranges. Unlike certain people who came out of Alabama last year, he has some power in his throws and can push the ball down the field.
How long does Cam play?
This year,
Mm-hmm.
if they're winning, he'll go the whole season. If they're 500 or losing record, after the bye week.
Ooh.
Which New England normally has the early buys. So halfway through the 17-week season, I'd say week 8 or 9.
I was gonna say I don't think he makes past week 6.
You don't think so?
No, Cam was awful last year. I don't care what you say. He was hurt. He was in a new system. It was a day that ended with Y. I don't care. He wasn't good. He looked awful. Pathetic.
Agreed, but we are where we are with the Patriots now because everyone's leaving. Their dynasty's collapsing. It feels so good.
We won!
But yeah, I mean, anything else you want to talk about?
No, sir, not at all.
No, none, nothing.
Nothing.
I will say this: the Giants drafting the Florida wide receiver was probably a smart move because now they have Kenny Golladay, I forget his name, out of Florida, and then Sterling Shepard.
Kadarius Toney.
Yeah, thank you. I do think that was a smart move. Just me though. And the Vikings have a new starting quarterback by the time the season's over.
Ooh.
Kelly.
Ooh. Next episode we'll talk about that. Next episode. We're getting too long in the tooth.
But yeah. All right. So if you got nothing else, I got nothing else. My dog Lily made an appearance on the show today, so all you dog lovers out there will be happy. But anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like always. Please leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about the draft. Tell us who you thought should have went where, who flopped, who missed. Just let us know your thoughts. So yeah, until next time, guys, we will see you guys later.